Hey guys, this is Brittany Wang, an aspiring author of a YA fantasy novel, and today I'm going to be showing you my series Bible, which a lot of you on Instagram have been waiting for this, so I'm so excited to open this baby up and show you what's inside. If you don't already know what a series Bible is, or a story Bible, novel Bible, whatever you want to call it, basically, it is a collection of reference documents that have everything about your characters and your setting and your plot. Screenwriters have definitely used series Bibles for a long time, but I've seen a lot of novelists use them successfully as well, whether they have a really complex world because they're maybe writing fantasy or sci-fi, whether they have a lot of characters they're trying to keep track of, or they're writing more than one book, and when they're on book 2 or 3, they don't want to have to go back to read all the way through book 1 in order to make sure they're staying consistent. For me, I have a lot going on in my story. I have a lot of characters. I have a pretty big world. I have a lot of plot twists and foreshadowing I want to make sure I do right. And so I've started putting my series Bible together even before I started drafting. Now, I didn't want to spoil anything in my book, but I also wanted to make this really applicable. So what I've done is I've taken pretty much all the notes out of this binder, but replaced them with the blank templates that I originally created for myself. What I've also done is I've made those templates available for you as a free download in the description, just in case you get really inspired by this video and you didn't want to go through all the trouble of making those templates yourself. So let's get into the tutorial, and if you find that this is really helpful, I would love if you would give this video a thumbs up, and if by the end you still have more questions about the series Bible or about world building or anything about writing, I would love to discuss those with you in the comments. Okay guys, so this is the binder that I've chosen for my series Bible, and obviously you can choose whatever kind of binder you want, but I got this one from Staples. I wanted something inspiring, so I really liked how this one looked, and I'll link this in the description in case you would like to get the same one, but I tried a couple different places and I felt like Staples had a lot of variety, so I would go check there if you are looking. I also picked up these dividers here, which I thought were really cute and have these pockets in them as well. And also, I haven't tried it yet, but they do claim that you can write directly on these dividers and then erase what you've written if you want to change it. So I thought that was pretty cool as well. Now, I'm just going to use this series Bible index that I've created, and again is in the templates below to sort of be a reference point as we go through everything. Again, not everything in here is in this Bible, but it does have everything listed in the index so you can add whatever is missing. Okay, so the first section I have is all about your writing goals for your project. And this part of the template, again, is not in the templates that I'm providing below because this particular sheet, which is really awesome, is by Heart Breathings. She is on YouTube, and in her video that I will link below, she offers this sheet along with showing you how to meet your writing goals, and it was pretty awesome. So I put that in my series Bible. It has title, word count goal, start date, plotting completed by, rough draft, deadline, edits completed by. It has all of these deadlines, and I thought that that was just really helpful to have right at the start. The other thing she talked about having was just having a visual calendar and sort of marking deadlines and being able to cross things off within a calendar. So I just printed this off of my Google Calendar and just got rid of all my events, so it was nice and blank. So that is something that you can do as well. You'll also notice that basically I've put everything in these plastic sleeves, and that might just be overkill, but I like to take my binder with me if I go anywhere to write, like at the library or other places, and I never want to just hole punch these pieces of paper and then something happens and it just gets ripped out and I lose it. So these are just plastic sleeves, and you can get them at Staples as well, and I'll link them in the description too. Our second section in the yellow over here is more of a plotting section, and so I have this plotting worksheet template thing that has a place where you can work on your logline or pitch, your book blurb, your synopsis, and sort of build on those things. Then on the back of it we have a place to sort of chronicle your themes that you want to weave into your plot, important icons and symbols, subplots or other elements to work in, and any questions you feel like you need to be answering as you're honing your plot. In this area, you can also put in a section where you have your typed out or written out outline, and that can be for one book or the whole series that you're writing, but all of that would sort of go right here. I would also include any sections where you're printing out research or different tidbits that are helping you figure out different parts of your plot or characters that you needed to do some digging about. And then finally, I just like including like a blank brainstorming page. Whether it's writing or doodling or whatever you need to do, this is where you do that. Now, depending on your preference, you might want to type these things out first and then print them out and put them in the plastic sleeves in your series Bible. For me, while I'm sort of working on my plot and working on my first draft, I've actually really enjoyed keeping these blank in here and then pulling the piece of paper out and writing by hand, just different notes and things in the margins and just making it really messy and, you know, the creative mind. But then when I get further on down the line and I have things really solidified, maybe in the second or third draft, my plan is to go back and type what is finalized out and then have it as more of a reference for future books in the series. I just really feel like this process keeps everything really fluid. And again, when I'm at the library or I'm out and about and I get an idea and I happen to have this with me, I can just pull this out and write what I need to, and I'm not like freaking out because, oh no, I have everything typed and it's so beautiful and now I'm messing it up. Let's mess it up first. Let's make it crazy and messy and creative first, and then I'll finalize it. And that's just sort of how my brain works. But I would love to know, as you guys create your own series Bibles, if you have any other processes that make it easier for you. I am not the ultimate expert. This is just my experience, and so I would love to hear tips from you guys as well. So on to section number 3, which is all about our characters. So what I do is I have a certain template that works sort of fluidly for main heroes and villains, and then I have a very simplified page for minor characters that if they need to get more fleshed out, I will then create maybe something more like this for them, but just basic ones that I don't want to forget little tidbits about. Those things go in here. But for the main heroes and the main villains, I obviously have a name, age, gender. My world is full of fairies, so I have like their kind or their race that they're a part of. I have physical descriptions, so I have listed here hair, eyes, skin, distinguishing marks, height, clothing and items, mannerisms, all that kind of stuff would go here. Personality, I just listed some examples. You could include their Myers-Briggs, their strengths and weaknesses and flaws. Beliefs and spirituality is definitely a section I wanted to include. Skills and abilities or powers based on what kind of world you're creating. Their living situation, their family situation, their occupation or job. Life experiences, we have history, education, all the things and events that sort of make them who they are today. Their key relationships, so the different people that make the most impact on them or the different people they meet within the book and how that impacts their character or their arc. Inspiration, so if certain characters in other books or movies or stories have inspired that character and you just want to keep sort of a record of that. And finally, I have a short section just for a synopsis of their character arc and how they sort of change throughout the book. Now you'll also see that I have this section at the back here called Goals, Motivations, and Stakes. And this is definitely inspired from Kim Chance. She had sort of a breakdown of this in one of her videos, and so I'm not including this in my templates for you guys because I want you to be able to go check out her templates that she created, but this was part of her character profile, and I just thought that that was really helpful to break down just at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end of the book, what are their goals, motivations, and stakes, and how that progresses throughout the story. So you can see here that some of the stuff that I have in my series Bible I've created, and other things have totally inspired me, and so I put other people's resources in here. Another thing I'll probably include in the plot section is Blake Snyder's beat sheet, which has been really helpful for me as well. So yeah, it's just really fluid. And I also really love that because it is a binder and not a notebook, you can obviously take out the sheets from the binder and reorder them however you want. For a while, I was keeping everything in a notebook, but it was just so hard to sort of like keep flipping back and forth and like, where did I write that note? But this just allows me to, again, be fluid in my process, but also be able to move things around and organize them where I need them. All right, and the fourth section I have here is all about world building. Now, some of you that are more in like a contemporary world might not need as much detail as I have here, but for fantasy and sci-fi especially, I feel like this section could get very big. And so the first thing that I include here is the world sketcher map, and I just left mine here. It's just sort of a very simple childlike doodle of what I picture my world to be, so you can enjoy that, and hopefully that gets you excited that someday you'll be able to read about this world. I'm so excited. The next thing I did is I sort of separated this into two sections. The first being about the overall world, and then what I have are like 5 different provinces within that world. And so what I chose to do is to make profiles for both the overall world and the individual sort of key places in my world. So this first template has the name of the world, the location, if that matters, the setting description, generally what it looks like, and maybe the weather, creatures and plants and stuff like that, the society and culture that world has, so people groups, hierarchy and laws, education system, common jobs, religion, currency, and you can add whatever else you feel is pertinent. Magic system, again, this is definitely pertinent if you are doing a fantasy story. At the back of this, I also have a section for the world's history and the current state of the world as it stands at the beginning of the book. For the key places, or for mine, provinces in my story, again, we have location name, the location within the world. Each of my provinces, they hold a specific value in their culture, and so I wanted to include that and their sort of people group or kind or race that inhabits there. And then I got even more specific with each province. So again, we have setting and description, but each province has a slightly different wildlife and weather system and different things like that. So I had that be different. Key places and unique features within that province, about the people group or kind or race, physical identifiers, general temperament, skills and powers, common jobs, clothing, weapons. Those are just different things to remind me to maybe include in here. Hierarchy and laws, magic system again, because each province might have a different hierarchy, law system, or magic system. Their own particular background in history, because that was important to my story as well. Their internal and external conflicts, and the larger role of this province in the story. Now, you might not need all of this, and so actually when you download these templates, I've left it as a Word document so that you can actually go in and edit whatever you want each section to say, and you can make them bigger or smaller or whatever. And yeah, I just really wanted it to be as helpful to you guys as possible. What I do ask is that you can totally change whatever you want within the template for the purposes of your own series Bible. I just ask that you don't, share it with anybody else or alter it and share it as your own, unless you want to share the link that I'm giving you so that they can download it from me. I would just really appreciate that, obviously, because I've put a lot of work and time into this, and I just want to help you guys. And finally, the fifth and last section is just a simple glossary section. Again, depending on your world, you might have a lot of terms that you just have to end up defining. And I was talking, I think, with my friend Rachel, who I'm going to tell you about in a little bit, and she was saying how she was using this glossary and how it was just really helpful. And again, especially with like fantasy or sci-fi, you'll just have this sort of document that you can reference while you're writing, or if you forget what a certain term is called or what the rules are about it. Again, what I would do is I'm going to take notes as things come up, and then at the end, when I've sort of finalized things, I would then go back and type this up maybe in alphabetical order in a document, reprint it, and put it in here. Well, guys, I hope that was really helpful. And again, if you're looking for any of the materials I've used or the free templates that I've created, they are in the description below. Also, if any of you are watching this video soon after it's released, I wanted to let you know that this Saturday, July 7th, I'm going to be going live on Instagram with my friend Rachel, and we're going to be talking about world building. I'm going to share a little bit more about my series Bible. She's going to share about this history book that she's writing for her novel. We're going to be answering questions, and then we're going to do a word sprint as well. So if you have any further questions, definitely leave those questions in the comments, and we will be sure to answer them also on Instagram. By the way, that live stream is part of a bigger writing retreat that is happening all the way through this weekend from Friday to Sunday called the Pondering Writing Retreat. Tons of word sprints, tons of live streams. So if you need to get words in, especially for Camp Nano going on right now, you're definitely going to want to check it out. Well guys, that's all I have for you today, but if you enjoyed this video again, please give it a thumbs up, and I hope you consider subscribing so you don't miss anything. And until next week, happy writing.